Hi, I'm Lori Spielman, First Selectman for the town of Ellington. And today's show, I have three great guests. One is our town clerk, and I have two people that are our town registrars. Got it right?
Registrar.
See, I always get corrected. Introduce yourself, Donna.
Donna Hosey, Town Clerk, Ellington.
And I'm Wanda Deland. I am the Registrar of Voters. I've been active in this role for 17 years. So it's an honor to be here.
And I'm Lois Timms Ferrara. I'm the other Registrar of Voters, and I've been at it for 6 years.
Wow, it's great to have everybody. And our show is just to try to inform our public of what this election is going to be like. For instance, early voting, what's that all about? Can anybody vote early, or and where does it start?
Okay.
First of all, you're located on the first floor, basement
Yes.
of
in
the town hall.
Mhm.
And Donna, you are on.
The main floor when you come in the front door.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you a lot of questions
That's
and
fine, yeah.
get them all screwed up on you.
That's okay.
So, what are your hours?
For early voting or in general?
Well, in general.
Okay. Well, currently we are working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to 12, and then one afternoon, 1 to 6. I believe that's Mondays, actually. Mondays will be 1 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to 1.
And for early voting, where do people go?
So they're going to go to the Town Hall Annex, which is right next door to the Town Hall. And the early voting will start October 21st, and it will run until November 3rd, which is a Sunday. So it's actually 2 weeks of early voting that will go over 2 weekends. This is the first year Connecticut is doing it. There are 46 other states in the United States that have been doing this for a while now, so this is all new for us too. It's a learning process. But the hours will be 10 to 6 every day, except for the second Tuesday and Thursday of the second week, which will be 10 to 8 p.m.
Great.
Yeah.
I believe that's also Halloween.
Yes, Halloween is
People
one of
have other
the
things going on, but
Wow.
Yeah.
And anybody can do early voting?
Anyone, as long as you're a resident of Ellington. Well, you have to be, the normal criteria as in registering to vote, you have to be over 18 years old, you have to be a United States citizen, and you have to be a resident of the town you're voting in. So yes.
So, how do I register to vote? And can I do it the day of election?
Yes. Want to take that, Lois?
sure, yeah. There are several ways to register to vote. You can go online. There's an online portal. Register.
It's myvote.ct.gov, which will take you to the Secretary of the State portal. And on that portal, there's many options where you can look up if you are already a registered voter, where my polling location is, or you can register to vote on that portal. If you want to go directly to the voter registration link, then that's voterregistration.ct.gov.
So you can use those links to find out, A, am I already registered? Perhaps you're registered at your old address. Perhaps you don't recall registering, perhaps when you were at the DMV. So you can check to see if you're registered at those links. And you can also call our town hall, call us during our office hours. The other way, of course, would be come into our offices and we have you fill out the registration card, and then we will verify that you are who you say you are. We'll look at your ID, and then we'll mail you a letter as a check to make sure your address is correct, and that's how you become a registered voter. You will be able to register to vote every day during early voting, but that would only be in person. You can no longer mail your registration cards in. You would have to be there in person at early voting, where we will research, make sure that you're not registered in another town, and you would be able to vote during early voting as well.
Great. So, Donna,
Yes.
where do I get an absentee vote or ballot?
In the town clerk's office, absentee ballots become available October 4th, which is a week from this Friday. You must complete an application. You may get these at our office. We can mail them to you, or you can go online, Secretary of State's office or the Ellington Town website. It's a little different than early voting. You must have a statement of applicant. Either you're in the armed services, you may be absent from town the day of voting. You may check sickness, religious tenets, or duties as a election official on the day of the election. And you attest to that by signing and dating the application. And then we can either hand you a ballot or mail it to you.
Great, thank you.
So early voting is a little bit different than absentee, because absentee ballot, you have to have those 6 reasons why you can vote by absentee. Early voting, anyone can vote in person. There's, you don't have to check off one of those reasons.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if I get ill on voting day and I can't make it?
So anyone who becomes ill or hospitalized within 6 days of election day, there's another application that you can get in the town clerk's office, and you may designate someone to pick up your ballot in our office, bring it to you, and return it to us. So the person that you designate will be driving back and forth minimum of 3 times. However, you will be able to vote.
Will somebody help me fill out the ballot if I need it, or?
You can designate
Yes,
someone.
you can designate, say you're
Wait,
hospitalized.
is that another form?
Nope. Say that you're hospitalized and you designate a friend to bring you the ballot.
nurse.
They can sign as helping.
Wow.
Lori, I also want to add to that that we do have curbside voting on the day of the election, that if you do suddenly feel ill that day and you don't want to come into the polls, you can pull up to the polling location, and we have phone numbers posted that will contact our office. We let our poll workers inside the polling location know that there's someone outside at the curb that will come out and actually bring the ballot to them.
Can I get a ride to the polls?
Absolutely, yeah.
How does that work?
We do have some people
Yeah.
from the town committees that are willing to pick you up, and
Each party sets
Each
up
party,
people
yeah.
who are willing to drive folks.
we can supply you with those phone numbers.
Well, that's great. So everybody's able to get there no matter what.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
great.
Yep.
So I asked this question earlier. So we have 2 people.
Yep.
One is a Republican, one is a Democrat, and I asked, why do we have 2 people like that? I mean, so Wanda, you gave me a great answer.
For checks and balances, and just for the integrity of the election process, basically. Yeah. Every town has at least 2 balances, 2 registrars, and I believe Hartford has 3. But yeah, that's basically it, just for checks and balance. We want to keep each other honest.
No, but that's a long day too.
It's a very long day.
So
very long day.
Explain to me, what time do you start? You get there pretty early.
Election day itself, right, we start about 5:15 in the morning, and the polls open at 6, and they are open until 8 p.m. Yep, and we have 2 locations, but we have 3 districts in town, so it keeps us hopping. But we have wonderful, wonderful poll workers. These are polling officials that we've brought in from the community that have served us so well over the years. These are long days for those folks. They're on the front lines. They're dealing with voters all the time, answering questions. They're always on their toes. So it takes a village to run this election.
So most poll workers will be there at least, especially during a presidential election, they'll be there at least till 9:30, because we have to consolidate our numbers at the polls. And then Lois and I and our head moderator will usually be in the office till, we have to submit our actual unofficial results to the Secretary of State by midnight. So we will be there at least till, that late.
That's
midnight.
a long
It's
day.
a really long day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's a lot of people. So in Ellington, where are we voting? this year?
Yep, so there's 3 polling locations. District 2 is Crystal Lake, so they'll be voting at Crystal Lake School. And then District 1 and 3 are both at the gymnasium at the high school, Ellington High School. Yep,
And that's the only 2 places.
that's the only 2 locations, which is different than our town referendums, which we usually have at the senior center.
I didn't really want to bring that in
I'm
to
sorry.
confuse people, but no,
Don't
that's,
go to the
But
senior
there is
center.
a lot of voting that takes place at the senior center,
Right.
so people have to be aware that this is a regular election at your regular polling locations.
because some people are like, I'm so confused. We go here,
Yeah.
the next time we go here,
It is
and this and that.
confusing, yeah.
But we'll try to have signs out and everything
We always
else
have
to help
signage
people.
out, absolutely, yeah.
That's great. So, what else do you have going on? So, does it take over quite a bit of your time when election season is?
Absolutely, because right now we're in the process of preparing the ballot packs. When you absentee vote, there's 2 envelopes. There's directions, there's the ballot, there's a 3rd envelope if we're mailing it. So right now, my assistant is in the office creating all the packs. Early next week, when we receive the ballots, we'll put 1 box for District 1, 2, and 3, and we'll have everything ready to assign.
That's great. So, how do you know that people don't vote twice?
Well, I was just going to say, once those absentee ballots are returned, they are marked off in our state system, and on our official voter list, it'll actually have an AB next to them. So those voters won't be able to come into the poll and vote in person unless they withdraw their absentee ballot application by 10 o'clock the day before. But the early voting voters is the same criteria. Once they're in their early voting location, they've cast their ballot, they will have an EV next to their name, so they won't be able to vote in person or by absentee ballot.
So, can you take us through the ballot this year? There's questions on there. One state, we have some other questions for our town that we've been working on.
Right.
So maybe Lois, you could
Sure.
run us through.
Okay, of course, we're voting for U.S. President this year, and there will be 5 different candidates on that list, and they will cover the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and the petitioning candidate. And so you'll see that column there, and obviously you choose just one. And that we're also voting for U.S. Senator. The U.S. Senate seat currently held by Chris Murphy is being challenged by Matthew Corey, and Justin Polino. And Robert Hyde is also running for the Cheaper Gas Groceries Party. And we also have the, as far as Connecticut politics go, we are voting for our representative and our state senator in Hartford. And the Senate side, we have 3 different senators, Connecticut state senators representing the town of Ellington. So depending on which district you're in, you will see different candidates. There is also the congressional seat currently held by Joseph Courtney, is being challenged by Mike France. And then finally, we do have our questions, and the questions are, one is put out by the state of Connecticut. The entire state will be voting on this, and I'll read it to you as we know it to be phrased. Shall the Constitution of the state be amended to permit the General Assembly to allow each voter to vote by absentee ballot? And that was the absentee ballot that the form that Donna went over a few minutes ago. What that would do would be eliminate those reasons for voting absentee. So it would be a no excuse absentee ballot option. It probably will not do away with any of the early voting. We will always have that option. So folks who want to vote in person but cannot make it on election day have that option of voting in person during early voting.
Boy, they're making it pretty easy. Before it was like if you didn't show, it's your loss. But now it's getting pretty simple.
Yes.
So also we have a few other questions. I don't know if you feel like reading them or not.
Well, we have one question actually. One question that the town charter has undergone some revisions, at least some suggested revisions over the last several months. And we've had a special committee, as you know, Lori, that has looked at it all, and we're looking particularly at the town administrator position and making sure that our language meets what our needs are currently. And there will be signs up at the polls, whether it's early voting or voting at the polls on election day. There'll be signs up that explain all of these suggested changes, and they are not listed on the ballot. But rather there is a single question that states, shall the chapter of the town of Ellington be amended in accordance, charter of the town of Ellington be amended in accordance with the recommendations set forth in the final report of the Bipartisan Charter Revision Commission dated August 7th, 2024.
They worked really hard on that and had a lot of meetings back and forth, and either with the Board of Selectmen and the public, and it was a lot of work. But really what we're looking to do is update the charter to coincide of what we're doing now. So we have our town administrator and a first selectman. The first selectman has gone part-time. The first selectman doesn't deal as much with the town employees. We could get a new selectman every 2 years, so I felt, and a lot of other people felt, that it's important to have somebody that's steady in that role that can deal with the town employees. Because if you're doing evaluations and everything, you want to be fair, and you want to know a little history and how they've improved or how things have changed or whatever. So this basically just coincides of what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And it has to be updated every few years, no matter what. You have things in your office that need to be updated, but we didn't want to overwhelm the whole
Right.
problem of people filling out everything as they just want to vote and go. But this was very important, I thought, to put on.
Absolutely. And all that information will be on our town website, including all the questions. We will have posters at the polls, and the registrar's office is planning to do a mailing that will include the questions that will be on the ballot.
So everybody will get a postcard or something that they can
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
in the mail. You know, it's very hard nowadays because we used to put things in the Journal Enquirer, but a lot of people don't get the paper anymore.
Right.
And same with the Hartford Courant and everything else. So it's a little hard to get people
Informed.
right.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
our
the-
website, we try to keep it up as much as
Yeah.
possible, and we ask for people's input if they have anything. So
Right, and that's one of the biggest complaints we hear about the polls. Like, we didn't know anything about this, but we're definitely trying to get the information out there. So that's why we thought the mailing would definitely be beneficial.
that's great.
Yeah.
And the mailing's unusual. Other towns are not doing that. But we thought this year, given that it's our first use of early voting, we wanted to let people know there can be long lines. As you recall from previous presidential elections, we have long lines at the polls. And early voting should probably calm that down a little bit.
Do you think you could sell pizza or donuts and coffee or
Yeah.
something?
We always have bake sales at the election.
Right.
Because people are usually hungry, and if they come at noontime, and
Right.
boy, if there's a pizza, they would be like. So I want to tell you what else is going on in town.
Okay.
We'll give it a little break here.
All right.
So this Friday night, we have Light the Night. We have a short video that's going to be playing.
We are here at the Ellington High School football field to announce that we are having a Light the Night event in honor of the new sports lighting project here in Ellington.
On behalf of DPW and all other town departments and the ad hoc committee that worked so hard to put this all together, we'd love for you to join us Friday night, September 27th at 6 p.m. for an official ribbon cutting ceremony, a few words spoken by our first selectman, and then kick off the first official night football game under the new lights.
The game is being sponsored by Earthlight. There will be free t-shirt giveaways and free ticket giveaways. So come out. We're looking forward to a great game.
Go Knights!
Come on.
Come on down.
Earthlight has just finished all our fields pretty much. We did the Penny Street field, we did the Tedford Park, and also the high school. And it's going to be September 27th at 6 o'clock. We're going to turn the lights on, and the kids are going to have their first football game, which
That's
is great.
awesome. That's
We went a
awesome.
few weeks ago, and I couldn't stop watching them play softball. These kids are like this high, and they're hitting the ball, and it was 8:30 at night. Now, we could have never done that before.
Right.
And it's so nice to see the football kids were playing, and all sorts of, the fields were full.
It's wonderful.
And with the new lights, they're small, and there's no extra light going anywhere. Also, Tedford Park has lights now, so you can see when you walk to your car, which is a safety factor, I think. So that's going to be exciting. Also, of course, we have the Scarecrow contest coming up on the town green.
Yep.
And hopefully we can get the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, EVAC, firemen out there to put some scarecrows out. We'll have quite the judging contest.
That's always fun to look at.
Oh, it's great. You know, I love watching on Sunday mornings or Saturday, people going with their family and their kids and looking at each scarecrow, and it's
And
really
everyone does
nice.
such a fantastic job, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
I'm amazed by the creativity of some of them.
and you know, the art department at the high school really comes up with some neat things.
Yeah, yeah.
So they do a
It's
great
fun.
job. Also, October 12th at Nellie McKnight's, they're going to be a big fall fest where kids could paint pumpkins and take them home. They have a lot of things for kids to do. The museum will be open, the Mercantile Museum, where they have a lot of new gifts for people, and if you want to do some early shopping, that's the place to go. They do a great job, and a lot of nice ornaments of Ellington, and a lot of nice new leather products. They have some people like Arlo Hoffman has leather bags that he makes that are there for sale, and it's really a fun time. Also, I don't know, have you checked it out? At the Senior Center, the outdoor fitness,
Yes, yeah.
Unit.
That's
And
amazing. Yeah.
there's a cover over it, so it's really nice. It's
Yeah.
great. And we also have one at the Arbor Park, but that doesn't have a cover yet. So I'm trying to get money to put a cover on it because I think it's so important. And what really warmed my heart, one night I was watching on Facebook, and one lady wrote in and said how happy she was that her son was able to work on some of the equipment in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
And he
That's
could
nice.
work with the other kids and
That's fantastic.
be right next to him.
Yeah.
So I made sure that we had 2 machines for handicap in each location. And
Super.
I thought it's great. Arbor Park was a great thing that we've done over this year. Liberty Landscape put in irrigation at no cost for us, which was wonderful. We had a scout. We made a nice wood chip area in the middle of the trees because it was hard to grow grass there. So we put the picnic tables in there, and one of the scouts made these checkerboard tables. So if people want to come and play checkers or chess, that they could do that.
That's cool.
So there's
Really.
things out there that,
Things are happening.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's something that people can do at any time of the day, and you don't have to pay anything. I want to try to get
That's
people
nice,
out
yeah.
Yeah.
walking with our new sidewalks and things like that.
Right, right.
Is there
So-
a trail of treats this year?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
I was hoping.
We got to stay tuned for the date.
Ah, okay. Yeah, okay.
And that's going to be great because we're going to have lights. And that's
Oh.
located at Tedford Park.
Yay.
So, and it's always dark by the time you finish, and people are walking to the cars, and it's really dark.
Yeah.
So this year it'll be wonderful.
Terrific.
And then, I don't know if you know this, but Pete Haney did CPR classes for all department heads. I don't know,
I did.
you took it? Did you take it?
I did not this time, no.
Wow.
I did it a couple years ago.
All right. So we all took it, and one of the chef for the senior center, Mike Castro, he took it, and 2 weeks later he was out at a family function, and he was walking with his brother-in-law, and all of a sudden his brother-in-law was walking slower and slower and breathing really hard, and all of a sudden he just dropped. And Mike was able to do CPR until the ambulance came. Somebody called the ambulance came, and he saved his brother-in-law's life
Wow,
from taking that course.
that's amazing.
That's great.
So
So
we all need to be CPR certified, for sure.
it's great.
Yeah.
I always wanted
Yeah.
to learn, but I was pretty happy that EVAC took the time. So Peter Haney's goal, and I talked to him again, that he wants every student that's graduating to take CPR. I think that's great. It's a life
Fantastic. Yeah,
thing that you can run with.
life changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to save somebody's life is just
Yep.
wonderful. So we gave Mr. Castro a nice award, and he does a great job at the senior center cooking. He does a lot of cooking from scratch. The garden club raises a lot of vegetables and herbs and things like that, which he brings into the kitchen. A lot of extra vegetables that they've had, they put out front for people to take home.
So it's like farm to table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great there. So you got to check out their website of all these different things that they have going on at the senior center. They do a lot, and they got a lot of great chips coming up. Very reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you all for coming. And also, do you have any final recommendations or what people should do? You can either vote like we always just
You definitely have options for voting. You have absentees if you meet the criteria. You have early voting. You have the day, obviously the day of the election. And just quick deadlines, October 18th is the voter registration deadline, in person, online. But as we mentioned earlier, there is same-day registration. So if you do get to the polls or to early voting and you realize you're not a registered voter in Ellington, you can register that day
That's great.
and vote.
And vote.
Yeah.
Donna, you have any wrap-up advice? Just come on in
Just-
and see you.
Just get out there and vote.
Very
There's
good.
plenty of options, as Wanda said. Early voting is exciting. And if you can't leave the house, give us a call in the clerk's office.
And if you're interested in helping out on election day, give our office a call too.
That's great. I want to thank you all for coming. And
Thanks for having
this is great information. And this is also going to be on our Ellington website.
Okay.
So if people are missed this show or somebody wanted to look it up or see, if they missed something, they could replay the whole show.
That's good.
Very good.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.